these days, Alice. Bang! Zoom! Straight to the moon.
Fall of 1971.
Good evening. Developments in the news today. Several engineers spoke to U.S. space officials today on the merits of the Lunar Orbital Rendezvous approach in the quest for getting man on the moon. Officials appeared non-committal towards this presentation. And that's the news. I'm Carter Walkwright.
The 26th Amendment has passed, lowering the voting age requirements to 18 years of age in the United States. That's amazing. We have one mission scheduled, but the crews are gone. How many crews do we have left? We have 5 crews left. Well, here we go. We've hit all the milestones for the lunar landing. Joint Historical Man Lunar Landing or Joint Lunar Landing Earth Orbital Rendezvous. I guess we'll just go with the historical Man Lunar Landing. Who is going to be our crew? Brand, Kerwin Adams, Finley Abrahamson, and Lawyer. These guys look pretty good. Taylor, Holmquist, and O'Leary. Make backup. We'll assign another one just in case. But I don't think we'll have any problems now. Brand and Dubeck. Although if we look at our lunar module program, we only have two points. So you need to have 3 points to. You're supposed to have 3 points, but we're pretty close to that anyway. Apollo is at 94%. Eagle module can stand for a little bit more improvement. 92%. Kicker A booster. 92%. How's the Saturn V look? 95%. Everything is looking good. Looking like we're going to be hitting that moonshot next season. Oops. Sorry, I had a little bit of a sound glitch there. Oh, the Soyuz gets
Good evening. And now, the news. Superior Soviet engineers have foreseen a potential failure mode in a space.
an avoid fail.
Failure in that program will be avoided.
Studies show that communism is spreading. In the next 10 years, 85% of the world is expected to be communist.
Good night.
Well, that depends on who you ask. The Soviets are nowhere near getting to the moon. They have an avoid fail, but they have a rocket that's has abysmal safety record. 2% improvement. I'm not even going to schedule a future mission with that level of rocketness. They'll just get killed. I think the Soviets are pretty much out of the game here. It's all up to the Americans to land on the moon.
Good evening. Developments in the news today. The astronauts have, for an undisclosed sum of money, signed a deal with a major magazine for the exclusive rights to their life story.
Some retirements.
I'm Carter Walkwright.
Nixon goes to China. Good for him. I guess we don't need a kicker, do we? What am I researching it for? Looks like everything is in the Saturn V. I think I got confused because I usually try to take try to not go to the Saturn V and try to use the Titans. But no, Earth is the... Or maybe it's because of the Gemini or something. I don't know. I don't know what the kicker is for now that I think about it. But our safety margins are good. They're very good. And off the crawler goes towards the end of the Cape. And here's our mission. Taylor, Holmquist, and O'Leary. We'll assign both of those missions. I don't think there's anything we can research and development better. There's nothing else that's... Well, the Saturn V has 1%. Well, we'll throw some more research at it then. Eagle module, 92%. Yeah, I don't know what the Kicker A booster is for then. I guess the Saturn V has more than enough. The docking module is up to 93%. That's what those unmanned missions were for. It's just too bad it's a bit later than historically accurate. More astronauts ever. We'll save. Landing on the moon. Because I think we've got everything hooked up and ready to go.
Good evening. And now, the news. A cosmonaut has been disciplined and transferred for re-education.
Oh, more cosmonauts removed.
This concludes our news broadcast.
The glorious Red Army has won the gold medal in ice hockey. Talk to me in 8 years. No missions assigned. Can't afford anything. Can research a little bit of the protons. Have it avoid fail on the Soyuz at least. We are way behind. The docking module is at 45%. Just too many explosions. Not KGB headquarters. The Secretary General is very angry with failures of the space programs. Well, it's not my fault. Soviet stuff is dangerous. Look at the museum. Compare our director rankings. Yeah, the Soviets are tanking it. And America is climbing steadily above. Prestige summary. Negative 62. Because they've had a lot of exploding rockets. And Lunar Pass, kaboom. I don't think they've had a manned docking yet either. Well, we'll schedule a future mission for manned docking, but I don't think it's gonna matter. It's just joint unmanned, joint orbitals docking EVA. We don't have very many cosmonauts left. In fact, I think these are all the cosmonauts that are available. We can recruit some more, but I don't know about that. What we really need is the better rocket, and unfortunately, because our rockets keep exploding, and when the rockets explode, they knock the safety factor back down, and it just kind of, you know, it becomes harder and harder to climb out of that hole. So we're gonna save, because I think this is it. See if America can make it on their first attempt.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
Launch commit. We have a liftoff. All engines building up to the thrust. Moving out. Clear the tower.
Roger, tower clear. Roger, Tom, you got good thrust on all engines here, right on the money. 30 seconds, we're on the way. Stand by for mode 1 Bravo. Mark 1 Bravo. 1 Bravo, engines. Boy, it looks good, boy. Pressure's coming down.
Roger. Hello, Houston. You're go for extension.
Ground the last time. Coming up on 2 minutes. Fuel is 102, 101, oxygen 78, 10. Go for CLI, over. Roger, stand. We're going for CLI. Starting bomb removal. Missile prep complete on engine deck. Bell says we're in a period of relaxed vigilance. Very good. We'll relax, keep vigilant. All voltages above 2.5. 2 seconds.
Ready right on.
Looks good. So we have cams solid. You're looking good on the ground. Go ahead and let us know what you get out of that. I think we're going to hold off on this SPC thing until he does get down. Okay, go ahead with your memory. Right down 4 degrees. Looks like we are down. Three, two, one. Houston, you're a go for DOI, over. Roger, go for DOI. Both looking good, going over the hill. Houston, you're a go for landing, over.
That's always the tricky part, is the photo reconnaissance, because I didn't do any ranger missions.
4 forward. 4 forward, drift into the right level. Down a half. 30 seconds. Looking good, down a half. Picking up some dust. 6 forward. 5%. Straight shadow. That's your shadow out there. 4 forward. 4 forward. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle.
Oh, I still get goosebumps when the Eagle lands. Let's have Taylor be the first one.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, funny, there's not a cloud in the sky. 99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. I see you have good product. Shift over. Take off to 1,500 feet. And shot looks good. Good to see you. Good to have you all back up there. It's been a good trip. What does the old moon look like from 60 miles, over? Okay, Houston. The moon is essentially gray. No color. Looks like plaster of Paris. Go ahead and range and elevation of about 40. Looks like we are down.
That's the docking that's always scary to me. Could you imagine Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin coming up from the moon and not being able to dock with the command module? And Michael Collins having to leave him there. I'm sure they would have figured out a way. Probably would have opened up the hatch and did some kind of EVA maneuvers or something.
2, 1, burn. Burn. You're burning. 4 to go. You're burning. 100 to go. Okay, stand by, Tom. Shut down. We're in good shape. Beautiful. Roger, is the drill holding on?
Only one more step.
Roger, re-entry checklist complete. Standing by for main at 10. Roger.
Hey, we did it! We landed on the moon! 3 years late, but we did it! Congratulations to the United States! Some guy named Taylor is the first man to walk on the moon. Everybody will remember his name in this alternate universe where Neil Armstrong was burned up on re-entry in a failed Gemini mission, I believe. Oh, it's always a nice satisfaction when you actually get through and win the game. Just because it's so difficult. Apollo 16, 6th April 1972. Historical manned lunar landing. First on the moon, Taylor. Command pilot, Taylor. LM pilot, Holmquist. Docking specialist, O'Leary. Alternate history. A weak victory. Several years after the Kennedy deadline, the United States finally lands on the moon. The American economy is exhausted. All major U.S. projects in space are cancelled into the next century. Japan, Europe, and China become the new major players in the space race. The Soviets suffer a military coup. The Cold War continues into the next century. The President thanks you for your service and announces your retirement. How about that? Let's take a look at our lunar EVA. Here goes, out on the moon. Crazy to think that we've actually been on another, I don't want to say planet, but you know, another celestial body like that. Let's see. How about a parade? Everybody loves a parade. Statistics. Winning director L10, losing director 11. Apollo 16. Apollo 12, 13, 14. Oh, I guess they count scrub missions as Apollo 10. Prestige first manned lunar landing. What? There's some kind of weird glitching out here. Explorer 1 exploded. I remember that. Explorer 2 didn't explode. Deke Slayton, first man in space. It's all glitchy. Oh, and then Gus Grissom died in the Mercury capsule. We canceled the Mercury program. We went to the Gemini program. Did an Earth orbital. I don't know why it's being all weird and glitchy. There must be something wrong with the Windows port. Gemini 3 orbital duration. Gemini 4 unmanned mission. Was it just? I think these were just docking missions. Gemini 10 joint orbiting lab. That was a failure because of the docking thing. Gemini 12. That was when Neil Armstrong and Jim Lovell were killed. The secondary Gemini crew failed. Gemini 12. And then we canceled the Gemini program. Just used unmanned things for dockings. More dockings. Finally, Apollo 5, which is a joint orbiting lab with lots of astronauts in it. Apollo 4. What? Apollo 5? Apollo 4. Okay, make up your mind. And then had some cancellations and some other unmanned tests, I think, and then Apollo 10. And then finally, Apollo 14 was the one to land on the moon. I like the mission patches that they have. They actually seem to fit with what they're doing. Right? Apollo 13 was just a docking test, so that's why it looks like this docking thing here. Apollo 14 patch has them circling the moon and landing on it. This one just has them orbiting the Earth. Although it should be them orbiting the moon, I suppose. Well, and there's the Apollo 10. Kind of looks like the Apollo 11 patch. What else is there? Mission records. Nah, we don't need to look at that. Prestige summary. Kind of looked at that a little bit. Total points. The USA crushed the Soviet Union in all things space. because the Soviets rockets just kept exploding. Astronaut history. Earth orbital. See who has the most experience. Joint orbiting lab. Neil Armstrong's location is Arlington Cemetery. How sad. 763. Joint orbiting lab. I got up into space twice. Brand. All 13. Earth orbital lunar module test. Four. 9. Gemini 1 and Gemini 9. John Glenn. Missions 2. Prestige 20. Space duration 2 days. Gus Grissom is dead. Oh, Holmquist was on Apollo 14 and Apollo 16. Apollo 16, I guess, was the actual landing. Space duration 14 days. Congratulations, he got some kind of medal, too. And his wings. His pilot wings or something. 41. Congratulations for him. He's going to be well known. Jim Lovell is also dead, unfortunately. Ken Mattingly, retired. Leary. Where is... There's Mr. Rogers. Schmidt, Schweikert. Alan Shepard, retired. Spent 7 days in space on the orbiting lab and Gemini 3. Deke Slayton, 10 years in space. Or 10 years for tenure. He was on 3 missions. Joint orbiting lab and Earth orbital and Mercury 1. So even if you get them into space a lot of times, they don't. They still retire. Taylor, he was the guy who landed on the moon. He was the first man on the moon in this history. Looked at a little bit of him up. James M. Taylor. He was actually selected to be one of the first astronauts for the Air Force's Manned Orbital Laboratory. Although the program was canceled before he got to go into space for real. And he was killed during a training mission, flying his T-38 aircraft. It's unfortunate reality, but in this reality, he was the first man to land on the moon. So that's something. Chuck Yeager, Group X, was in basic training. Yeah, you can get some Air Force pilots sometimes, but that was really late in the game. It's too far late. Look at the Soviets. Soyuz, Soyuz 5, primary crew dead. There's 5 and 6. I guess that's why it's like that. No launches for a while Voskhod, secondary crew dead. Unmanned Voskhods. Failure to dock. Unmanned Voskhods. All dead. Mission type orbital satellite. That doesn't sound right. This one was a success. That's something. Suborbital. They didn't get a suborbital until 1964. That's right, because their rocket exploded. It was a tragedy. Exploded. What was it? The Voskhod 1 exploded. And Vostok also exploded. Or was a failure. Vostok 6. Vostok 5. Vostok 3 is also dead. Yuri Gagarin died on the first mission. Very unfortunate. I don't need to just look at that. We saw enough of the Soviets' failures. Efficiency. Attempts 10. Successes, or attempts are 17 and successes are 10 for the R7, and no successes for the Proton capsule. Didn't even get a chance to get the Soyuz into space because it was so expensive. Ran out of funding. Miscellaneous. Docking module failures. Don't think we looked at that for the Americans. LEM was a success. Saturn V was always a success. Titan was pretty successful. Alice was pretty successful. Yeah, it had some failures in the Gemini and the Mercury programs early on, but the Apollo was all the way, man. And a few docking errors. Soviet cosmonauts. A lot of them are dead. 4 days. 4 days. 2 days. Kremlin Wall. 2 days. 2 days. Dead. This guy went on 2 missions. He's lucky he got out alive. Actually, he went on 3 missions, apparently. He's part of the joint orbiting lab that failed. Description suborbital. He tried 2 suborbitals and he died on the second one. Prestige -17. What was the prestige of that other guy? 6? I think that's probably the highest that any of them are gonna get. -10. So he has 5. Joint orbital's duration. He's dead. Oh, so many dead cosmonauts. I'm sorry, but they make it so hard. And that's it. That's it. And history is just this thing again. And that's the end of the game! So I hope you enjoyed watching that. The whole playthrough of both sides and getting a look at how this game can be simultaneously very rewarding and also head-bangingly frustrating on the Soviet side. How you can one failure spirals into another, and you have to keep rushing to keep to try and keep up. You keep failing and failing and failing. So, till the next time, I will see you around.